So in the epithelial tissue that we were discussing in the previous presentation, we find that there are glandular epithelium, then there are epithelium which consists of endocrine and exocrine glands. Then in the compound epithelium, when we were talking about, they were made of more than one layer of cells, and these cells, they have a limited role in secretion and absorption. Their main function is to provide protection, and they cover the dry surfaces of the skin, the moist surface of the buccal cavity. Like here, multiple layers are there, and inner lining of the salivary glands and pancreatic ducts. All cells in the epithelium are held together by the little intercellular material, and in nearly all animals, the specialized junctions, they provide both structural and functional links between its individual cells. So three types of cell junctions they are found in the epithelium, and these are called as tight, adhering or gap junctions. Tight junctions, they help to stop substances from leaking across the tissue. Adhering junctions, they perform cementing that keeps the neighboring cells together. And third type are the gap junctions, which facilitate the cells to communicate with each other by connecting the cytoplasm of the adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules and big molecules. Connective tissue. Connective tissue is further of three types: loose, dense and specialized connective tissue. Connective tissue is the most abundant and widely distributed in the body of the complex animals. They are named after connective tissue because of their special functions of linking and supporting other tissues and organs of the body. They are very soft connective tissues of specialized cells, and like including cartilage, bone, adipose, blood, etc. And in all connective tissues except blood, the cells secrete fibers, all structural proteins which are called as collagen or elastin. So fibers provide strength, elasticity and flexibility to the tissues, and these cells, they also secrete polysaccharides which are accumulated between the cells and fibers and acts as matrix or ground substance. So connective tissues are classified into three types: loose, dense and specialized connective tissue. Loose connective tissue. These have cells and fibers which are loosely arranged and in a semi-fluid ground substance. For example, areolar connective tissue, which is present below the skin. It serves as a framework for epithelium. It contains fibroblast cells. You can see here fibroblast cells, and these cells, they produce and secrete fibers. Macrophages and mast cells. Macrophages and mast cells are also present in the areolar connective tissue. Then another type is the adipose tissue. This is also a loose connective tissue, is located beneath the skin, and cells of this tissue are specialized to store fats. And the excess of nutrients which are not used immediately, they are converted into fats, and they are stored in this tissue. Dense connective tissue. Fibers of the dense connective tissue, they are compactly packed, and the orientation of the fibers show a regular irregular pattern, and they are called as dense regular and dense irregular. You can see here this is irregular and this is regular. In the dense regular connective tissue, the collagen fibers, they are present in rows. They are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. Tendons which attach skeletal muscles to the bones, and ligaments which attach one bone to another bone are examples of this tissue. Dense irregular connective tissue, they have fibroblasts and many fibers which are mostly collagen, and they are oriented differently. So this tissue is present in the skin, cartilage, bones and blood, and there are various types of specialized connective tissues. Specialized connective tissues, the intercellular matrix of cartilage, that is solid, and it resists compression, and cells of the tissues of the chondrocytes. The cells of the tissues of the chondrocytes, they are enclosed in very small cavities within the matrix secreted by them, and many of the cartilage in vertebrates, embryo, they are replaced by bones in the adult. Cartilage is present in the tip of the nose, outer earlobes, between bones, and in the vertebral column, limbs and hands in adults. Bones have a hard and non-pliable this ground substance which is rich in calcium, salts and collagen fibers which give bone its strength. It is the main tissue that provides structural frame to the body. Bones support and protect the softer tissues and organs, and the bone cells or osteocytes, they are present in the spaces called lacunae. You can see here spaces called lacunae. And limb bones such as long bones of the legs, they serve weight bearing junctions, and they are also interact with the skeletal muscles. They are attached to them to bring about movement. So the bone marrow in some bones is the site for the production of blood cells. Blood is a fluid connective tissue that contains plasma, RBCs, WBCs and platelets. It is the main circulating fluid that helps in the transport of various substances within the body organization. Muscle tissue. Each muscle is made of many long cylindrical fibers arranged in parallel ways, and these fibers, they are composed of many fine fibrils which are called as myofibrils. And muscle fibers, they contract in response to the stimulation, and they relax, strengthen and return to their uncontracted state in the coordinated fashion. Their action moves the body to adjust to the changes in the environment, and they maintain the position of the various parts of the body. Muscles play an active role in all the movements of the body. So they are of three types: skeletal, smooth and cardiac. And skeletal tissue is closely attached to the skeletal bones. And in a typical muscle, there are biceps, striped skeletal muscle fibers. They are bundled together in a parallel fashion. Very tough connective tissue encloses several bundles of muscles. Then in the smooth muscle fibers, they are taper at both the ends, that is, they are fusiform. They are taper at both the ends and they do not show striations. Cell junctions hold them together and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. The wall of the internal organs such as blood vessels, stomach, intestine contains this type of muscle tissue. Smooth muscles are involuntary as their functioning cannot be directly controlled by us. So we usually are not able to make it contract just by thinking, or as we can do with the skeletal muscles. Then comes the cardiac muscles. This is a contractile tissue which is present in the heart, and cell junctions, they fuse the plasma membranes of cardiac muscle cells and make them stick together. Communication junctions make them stick together. Communication junctions actually are the intercalated disc. These are the disc. At some junction points allow the cells to contract as a unit. When one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighboring cells, they also stimulate it to get contracted. Neural tissue exists in the greatest control over the body's responsiveness to changing conditions. Neuron, that is the unit of the neural system, that is, these are the excitable cells, and the neuroglia cells. These are the neuroglia. The neuroglia cells, they consist of the rest of the neural system. They protect and support the neuron. Neuroglia make up more than 1/2 of the volume of the neural tissue in our body. When a neuron is suitably stimulated, an electrical disturbance is generated which travels along its plasma membrane, and arrival of the disturbance of the neuron's endings or output zone, it triggers events that may cause stimulation or inhalation of the adjacent neurons and other cells.